Edge.com. It's time for Taylor Kia.
Well qualified buyers with approved credit on select inventory. Down pay and term vary. See dealer for complete details.
This is Dr. David Vitko. Do you know the difference between not being sick and being truly healthy? Listen to my show, Enjoy Incredible Health, with Dr. David Vitko on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. on 570 WKBN.
All right, welcome everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I am Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer, and this is your show where we get to talk about things that are happening in technology. We started doing this show over a decade ago. Most of the people in this audience have come quite a ways over the time. Just by being close enough to the conversations, you sort of can't help but pick up the language that we speak as tech people, and maybe you've sort of inherited some confidence from the other people on this show. Literally, people tell us all the time that I started out as a neophyte. I started listening to your program, gave me a little bit of a will to do more. And then once you start tinkering and experimenting, it's that slippery slope that just gets you entangled in this. It's so much fun. It changes all the time. It really is an enabling thing. We have, grandparents who feel disconnected from the rest of their family, and then they discover things like video conferencing, where they can see and talk to people in their families and friends that are separated by distances. And it's just a magical thing where one day they didn't even know that was possible, and the next day they're doing it and they're expert at it, and they're calling you 100 times a day to see how you're doing. So it's amazing to watch this stuff go down, and we really do usher people from, I'm scared of it and I'm swearing off of it into, all right, well, contemplate it. And then we have some expertise and confidence behind it. That's why we've done this from the very, get-go. All it took was a couple of sessions with Dan Rivers, and his audience had enough questions, but I didn't have anybody to ask to. I mean, you hate to take what you don't know and put it on somebody else's shoulders. It's one of those unfair things where, you're a grandparent and your grandkids come over and you want to ask them how to do your Wi-Fi, how to set it up and whatever, but then you don't want to roll in their eyes and groaning at you that, that all of a sudden you want work out of people in your family. So that's you as the audience have the ability to get better over time. And that's exactly why we started, doing this program. It was also an outlet. We were doing computers professionally, and we had a whole lot of calls that would come in of people that didn't necessarily need our service, but they had questions. And so rather than, because as a profession, you got to keep the lights on, you got to pay your people, and if they're answering questions, it's harder to keep the lights on. So this is another outlet where rather than, using you call a plumber up and say, hey, I'd really like to fix my own hot water tank. Could you tell me how to do it? That would be kind of frowned on, right? Well, I want you to delve in on your own. I want you to replace your own router. I want you to do some of the stuff that you're capable of doing. You don't need, there's no dependency on this side of the microphone. And that's why we sort of coach you guys up, and we use your experiences to share with other people in the audience. And all of us get smarter by osmosis. So that is the typical lead-in for this program. For those first-time listeners, I hope you'll call and share something that either happened to you so we can help other people, or if you have questions about things that you're struggling with or just have a question about, feel free, 330-729-9977. Or you can text me all program long. It's 330-333-1570. And in the studio, I have one of our new guys. This is John. So John's new. He's just started with the company about a month ago. Very, very solid technical expertise. He's a very solid guy. You might have seen him going around with me, introducing to customers and introducing. So I figured we'd bring him on the radio here and introduce him to all of you, the listeners, because you'll probably see John. John, welcome to the program.
Hey, how we doing?
Real good, real good. So right off the get-go, I want to ask you a question. Nothing about your employment or anything like that. This is more of like anytime I get a person that is younger than me, which is pretty much everybody, and I ask them a question about their consumption of information. Okay, so whether it's a 10-year-old kid, whether it's somebody in their 30s, I want to know where people are getting their stuff. So share a lot of business owners in our audience. Okay, so they sell stuff, and they pretty much there's a wall that happens where the marketplace changes, and if you don't get a beat on it, you lose a whole segment a whole generation and so on and so forth. So where do you get your information from?
In terms of products and
No,
just
it
things,
more
or
like,
just
okay,
in
so
general?
news, movies, music,
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
I'd say it's a mix of some subscriptions I'm subscribed to. I get via email, something like that. But really a lot of social media type stuff.
Okay, so most of your news information comes via social media. What about TV?
Honestly, not as much.
No TV, movies?
Yeah. I'm not a huge movie consumer anymore, so it's just occasional. When the big blockbusters come out, I watch those.
Okay. Music? Say iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
iHeartRadio? Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
That's awesome. No.
Imagine that.
So streaming services for music
Yeah.
too as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever gotten a newspaper?
I think so.
You personally, one that you paid whatever a
subscription, newspaper subscription,
an actual physical paper.
No.
Never owned one. Never paid for one.
No.
Okay. What about a cassette tape, a CD? Have you bought either a cassette tape or a compact disc?
Maybe over 10 years ago.
Okay. And how about a DVD for an actual movie?
That's maybe like 3 years ago was the last time, I think.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Do you have a phone book and or do you know how to use one?
I do know how to use one, but I don't think I've had one in a few years.
Okay. What's the difference between the yellow pages and the white pages?
Yellow pages are businesses and white pages are residential.
See, you knew exactly what it was. That's awesome. So we got kind of a bead on, you're typical. You're the typical next generation consumer of information. Now, tell me something that, would you ever, I'm sure you've gone to news sites at this point, and the paywall comes up and says, hey, you could be a subscriber of the New York Times for X whatever. Are you I pay the subscription so I can continue reading, or I'm gone, I'm not paying for news?
That's a hard question, actually. Especially if you find a news source that is seems neutral and like you could get real good, truthful information from. I think that would be worth spending the money on. But in general, I don't spend money on news.
So theoretically, you would if it meant a certain thing, but you're not a subscriber to that kind of stuff. There's too many free sources to be able to pay for the one or two that are not free.
Yeah.
Does that about sum it up? Okay. All right. So about a month ago, you were in the job market.
Yep.
And so the experience of looking for a job, does it feel to you in your generation antiquated, the way that we seek out places to work?
It definitely feels like it should be easier, especially with how many available jobs there are out there. You would think that with all of our resources and technology, we'd have an easier system to line people up for those
Every
jobs.
one of my customers complains, I can't find enough people. Every one of them. There's not a single one that I talk to like, hey, I really wish I had 5 more of these awesome people. So we're picking out our fantasy players for the NFL coming up this season, right?
Yeah.
And I can look up stats on every player in the NFL. What he did 10 years ago, what he did now, how fast he ran the 100-meter dash, every statistic ever. And then I go to hire a guy like you, and I would say you're top tier. You're somebody who's got some experience behind you. You've got some technical ability. And I'm reading a resume that I feel like I'm a caveman. Like I have a stone tablet in my hand. Like, really, we have a rock star sitting in front of me who's got probably lots of stats that could make me make a decision where I want to draft you on my team, right? And I'm looking at this, this chisel in a piece of stone. I think it's ridiculous, and that's what it proved with me. Like after I hire a guy like you, I say, okay, I'm gonna go find like 10 more of him. How did I find him? And I'm like, that was sheer luck. There was nothing about it on either side that made you find me and me find you, and that's ridiculous in this age of technology.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's create the NFL of people, and we'll take rock stars. People are really good at stuff. And let that stuff be published somewhere where the stuff I'm really interested in as an employer are your stats, like what you do, what you put on the field, how many points you score. Why is that so hard to come by? I don't know. I'm asking this and I'm catching it, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think part of it is it's hard to quantify everything that makes someone a great employee or great at what they do. But I think the other part of it is just trying to get a good system set up, app, company, whatever it is, to be able to collect all that information that you can quantify to try and make that better decision.
Well, I'll tell you, the really good employees will be on board because they'd have stats up there that they'd want everybody to see, and the really poor employees would not want you to see that. They'd want to still write up these resumes that are nothing but marketing language, putting stuff on here that really is mostly not true, right? and tricking me into accidentally hiring them so that they could be a pain in the butt. Man, that is a very cynical look at people, isn't it? I'm sorry.
That's just being realistic, right?
That's true. And so, okay, so let's get back to a little bit about you. So tell some of the audience. I mean, we're thinking we got some customers out that are likely to come across you. Tell them a little bit about what you do.
About what I do.
Yeah, where'd you go to school? Where'd you grow up?
All right. Well, I grew up in this area. Early in my childhood, we lived in Austintown, moved around a little bit. I think at one point we lived in Hubbard, and finally we settled in Boardman. So really, I've grown up in this area. I'm from this area. I went to school I was homeschooled until 7th grade. And then from there, I went to Heartland Christian School in Columbiana from 7th grade through the end of high school. I graduated from there. And then after that, I went to Kent State. I went to the Salem branch, and I got my associates in computer technology, focus in networking. And then I was fortunate enough within a year of graduating from college, I was able to get a job in my field. So, and I've been on that career path since then.
Awesome. So what in your downtime when it comes to tech stuff, what do you enjoy doing? Are you like hammering out with hardware? You like software? You like games? What's your thing?
Yeah, video games is probably one of the biggest
Yeah.
portions of that.
What about it? Fill me in. Like I almost everybody who's been really good with us like the strategy behind games, and I kind of get that, like the problem solving things. That's what we do all day. But why rack your brain at night? Like what kind of games do you like?
I've liked a variety of games. For first person shooters. I was and I still am big in real time strategy games. Not like World of Warcraft, but like Command and Conquer, Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle Earth. Like those were just really cool strategy games. I've dumped hours into playing that kind of stuff. Racing games, those are awesome. Love racing games. And I've talked to you before. You already know. Big fan of Super Smash Brothers.
All right.
I'm not a huge like fighting game nerd, but Smash Brothers kind of found that niche between like you got your Nintendo characters and some other ones, and you just kind of duke it out. It's awesome.
And just so you know, those that we're getting video game tournaments going. Well, this is the most natural baton handoff that I've ever had. He's going to be really pushing the tournament. So we'll have somebody who is not only a supporter of the tournaments, but will probably be a participant or wanting to be a participant. So he's a real deal here. So yeah, back to questions about you. Other than video games, the stuff that you like doing at home, do you like? Have you ever written software or done anything other than gaming at home?
Yeah, I've messed around with VirtualBox. You can build virtual machines on any computer that has a processor that can handle doing virtualization. I've done that. You can make virtual labs of computers, and you can do all kinds of stuff with domains and group policy and stuff like that. And I've done that on the side, mostly as a learning tool to just kind of sharpen myself and get more familiar with that without being in an environment where I'm going to worry about breaking something important.
All right, one last question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, most people who are at your level, they tend to be more introverted and have more of a struggle interacting with people. I've witnessed you, and you're really good with people, and you're really good at communicating. Were you always that way?
No. I would say that is definitely a learned thing. I was a lot more of an introvert for sure, and I still feel like I'm kind of introverted. I think for me, it's harder to get the ice broken, I guess I would say. But once I get past that point and in that social situation, it's a little bit easier. Yeah, it hasn't always been that way.
All right. So we're gonna be conquering some stuff together, you and I. You're gonna see them a lot more as we go around fielding the commercial side. But thanks for stopping in here and introducing yourself to our audience. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Come back, take some more of your phone calls. Paul, I see you out there. We'll come to your call when we get back. 330-729-9977. You can also text me at 333-1570. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. We'll be back.
Please take precaution.
They are life-threatening conditions.
Venezuela will have a new birth of freedom.
I don't like shutdowns.
I still think the economy is very strong.
News lives here.
All of the American people want this.
570 WKBN.
Win your way to our 2019 iHeartRadio Music Festival and $1,000 to spend while you're in Vegas. More than 30 of the biggest music superstars, handpicked by iHeartRadio. 2 nights.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
Plus the daytime stage. See Tim McGraw, Backstreet Boys, Alicia Keys, Hootie and the Blowfish, and many, many more. Hosted by Ryan Seacrest. Listen for your next chance to text and win access to our iHeartRadio Music Festival. Plus $1,000 spending cash.
The backyard's looking great, Rob.
Thanks, man. I was planning on adding a deck, too. Know any good contractors?
Why don't you just ask Home Advisor?
Home what?
HomeAdvisor.com. You just tell them about your project and they match you with local pros that can do the job.
Nice. Now, how much does it cost?
Oh, Home Advisor's totally free to use. Plus, you can read customer reviews, check pricing, and book appointments for free.
What's the website again?
HomeAdvisor.com. Or just download the free Home Advisor app.
Home Advisor. If you're worried about your cholesterol, hear how others are taking charge with Garlic.
My doctor said my cholesterol was borderline, but I've been taking Garlic, and it works.
I've been taking Garlic for years.
My pharmacist recommended Garlic. He said there's an ingredient in garlic that helps maintain healthy cholesterol.
I take Garlic every day. No garlic breath. Lots of people like you are choosing Garlic to help maintain a healthy cholesterol. Garlic, it's cholesterol's natural enemy. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
One of the most successful groups in rock history. 3 Dog Night in concert with all their hits. November 17th, 7 p.m. Packard Music Hall. 3 Dog Night. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com or Packard Music Hall box office. 3 Dog Night, celebrating 4 decades of hits. Produced by JAC Live.
Hi, this is Eric Clark with Fairway Ford in Canfield. We are on a record pace for Super Duty truck sales, and we are going to keep that going. What that means for you is Fairway, your Ford truck leader, gets more trucks from the factory because we sell more. We sell more because of price, service, and a simple, no-hassle sales process. See us at fairwayfordohio.com or 330-533-FORD. Fairway, that's the way we do business.
Hey, it's Ron Verp for Nature Stone. Never replace your basement flooring again. With those horrible storms that gave you moisture, dampness, or flooding in your basements, and then you're removing smelly, nasty, moldy, ruined carpets, Nature Stone's the only solution that will stand up to moisture, dampness, even flooding. I repeat, it's the only solution. It's simple to clean and maintain. It's comfortable, too. So if your basement's damp, dirty, not somewhere you want to spend time, let's change that with Nature Stone. Get it installed in your basement by the end of August. Get up to 50% off. Schedule your free in-home estimate at naturestone.com.
At Tecovas, we make the finest handcrafted Western boots from the highest quality materials, sold only direct to you for a fair price. We did all this so you can have boots. So what's the deal? Didn't know you'd be comfortable in boots? Don't like being taller? Do you hate your feet? What'd they ever do to you? Well, we'll help you all work it out. Open your mind, because the West is now open. Find your pair at tecovas.com. That's TECOVAS.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I am Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer. This is your Saturday show where we get to talk about things that are happening in tech, both with, not just the I have a computer problem, but also setting up sort of socially how we're evolving. A lot of business owners in the audience that also have to keep a bead on what's going to happen because you have to plan. I mean, we went from a world where everything was brick and mortar to this disruptive thing on the internet where you could sell things and never have an actual store, and the disconnection of even actual communication where it's so much easier just to send someone a text message or an email rather than have a conversation on the phone. So if you missed all of that and you're still, getting 100% of your business from Yellow Pages call, that's a scary thing from my perspective, seeing what's rolling out and what's rolling in. All right, 330-729-9977. Let's go to Andy. Andy, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Hey, Joe, I've done business with you before. In fact, I'll be calling here shortly for a computer for my business. But a strange thing happened this morning. I was on my iPhone, on my notes section, and probably good or bad, but I keep a lot of my passwords in my notes section. And as I was scrolling through my notes, the page literally disappeared. Poof, gone. What the heck happened?
Wow. Your event viewer will tell you if the application. Are you saying the data's gone too, or just the app closed?
I've got, there's several segments. There's an AOL notes, there's iCloud notes, and one other one. They're still there, but the particular page I was on just disappeared.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, I would, my first brain would go to making sure that the machine is safe and there's not an infection and there's not anything going on. As soon as that's cleared, then it's probably something either on the software or the synchronization end. Is it blanked out like the data that's on there is no more, it's not recoverable? You can't go to the other side of the source?
Well, I synced it. I even tried backing it up from storage. And it's just gone. My notes app's still there. Some of my notes are still there in other applications, but my whole long list of passwords, which I probably shouldn't have had in the first place, are gone.
Yeah, that part has me suspicious because that being that there were passwords there, that's a very valuable target for someone if they were to want to steal it. I'm giving it like a 20% chance that was it. It's more likely that it's just it's a hiccup between the synchronization. The app probably crashed. Why it's gone for good, I'd have to see it to see why. What that note is doing, but I'd be suspicious. I'd look at it through that first cynical lens before I took my foot off the gas.
Okay, now why didn't I went to my iCloud account? I thought I just assumed it backed up there because I'm pretty religious about syncing and backing up to my iCloud. But most of my notes weren't in my iCloud account under notes. Did I have a setting wrong somewhere?
And that's tough because there's so many different products that are calling itself notes that you might be syncing notes that's not really coupled with the one that's on the iPhone. So you'd have to go through your settings and see which one of your apps are syncing with the notes side of iCloud.
Gotcha. Now, I think I have two AOL mail accounts, and I think the account that those notes were associated with disappeared was for an old AOL account. Does that have any meaning or any clue?
Yeah, see this is rough. I would have to write a little Venn diagram and go around and see what's connected to what before I made a good hypothesis about what could have happened there.
Gotcha. Well, I tell you what, I appreciate the advice and the input. I'll be calling you up on my computer. Maybe I'll be able to tackle this with you as well.
Awesome. All right, Andy, thanks for calling. Appreciate you being out there. Appreciate your question. And that's the thing. Like, you can have your phone participate in synchronization, but let's just say you have a copy of notes on your phone and then you connect with your iCloud account. Well, you can decide where the notes on your phone isn't participating with any kind of sync feature. So you have notes that's on the iCloud and then notes that's local, and they never get to cross paths. So sorry, I couldn't give you a direct answer, but that's as good as it gets with the information I have. 330-729-9977, or you can text me at 333-1570. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. I'll be back.
From America's best-selling automobile to the world's toughest trucks, there's a reason why customers are driving from Youngstown, Boardman, Austintown, Hermitage, even Cleveland and Pittsburgh. So come and find out for yourself at our all-new state-of-the-art facility on Route 46. See you at Toyota of Warren.
Hey, folks, the numbers are in. Last year, Kelly Warren sold 384 homes in our area. How does she do it? Tune in Sunday mornings at 8 and find out how she can help you. Sunday mornings, 8 a.m., 570 WKBN.
Here's some of the stories we're working on. A man from the Detroit, Michigan area pleaded guilty to amended sex charges in a Mahoning County court yesterday. Lordstown Motors Corporation wants to use workhorse technology and build electric commercial pickup trucks at GM Lordstown. An investigation is underway after an erratic driver in Boardman led to the discovery of suspected drugs and drug paraphernalia inside a van. The incident happened yesterday on Market Street. Bob Marino was selected to return as president of Niles City Council. He was approved by the city's precinct committee people. Youngstown Mayor Tito Brown has been appointed by Governor Mike DeWine to serve on the Census 2020 Complete Count Commission. And Trumbull County has released the latest drug overdose statistics. Since January, 52 people have died from overdoses in Trumbull County. From the Power Chevrolet Buick GMC of Calcutta, Ohio newsroom, I'm Dave Price.
Our next update at 2. From the O'Charley's Digital Studios, $9.99 menu, 9 great meals, 1 great price. O'Charley's. For your home or business, call Mazza's Heating and AC in Girard, 330-545-6063. Your factory authorized Bryant dealer. Now, the Storm Team 27 forecast.
Great weather to start our weekend for your Saturday with mostly sunny skies today and a high of 78. For tonight, mostly clear skies and a bit cool with a low of 55. From the Storm Team 27 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jason Surjak.
Going once, going twice. It's time to bid or buy at General RV in North Canton. This Wednesday to Sunday, bid on the motorhome, trailer, or fifth wheel of your dreams, or buy at already reduced buy it now pricing. Either way, you'll save thousands. We've brought in hundreds of overstocked RVs, and factory reps will be on hand to approve bids. Don't miss your chance to name your price. Make your offer by Sunday and take home a new RV for less during the bid or buy sale at General RV in North Canton off I-77.
As president, I promise to end needless suffering caused by dented plastic chair mats, and I promise to deliver beautiful glass office chair mats to homes and businesses with free shipping. And finally, as president, I promise a special discount for radio listeners throughout these fruited plains.
Hi, this is George Pardo, president of Vitraza, America's #1 supplier of glass office chair mats. Let me just say this, I promise, a Vitraza glass chair mat will completely transform your office. It will never dent, and our specially coated glass is beautiful. Visit us online at vitraza.com. That's V as in Victor, ITRAZZA.com. Radio listeners save 10% on any glass chair mat with promo code PRESIDENT. Here's our website again, VITRAZZA.com. Use promo code PRESIDENT to get 10% off. Vitraza.com.
It's time to stop throwing your money out the window. Pella replacement windows keep your home cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter. Just ask Cindy from Strongsville.
My heating bills and cooling bills have dramatically decreased, and they just look fantastic.
And right now you can take advantage of 0% financing. Get $150 off windows and $500 off patio doors. 877-98-PELLA, PellaYoungstown.com.
Hey guys, it's Sue Cosner, your favorite sexual health expert, with another version of Ask the Pro. This month, I got a letter from Sandy in Seattle about an explosive bedroom secret she and her husband recently discovered. She writes, Dear Sue, my husband and I used to have a great life in the bedroom, but in the last few years, he has struggled. He's tried about everything, but nothing has worked. Then one day he came home and gave me a night I will never forget. He told me about this secret formula, Noxatril, that changed our life in the bedroom once and for all. Wow, Sandy, you beat me to it. I recommend Noxitril to every guy that struggles in the bedroom. It's the only one. Noxitril is all natural and works to increase blood flow fast. It's like that little blue pill on steroids. Noxitril has a special free bottle offer, shipped discreetly to your door.
To find out how to get your bottle of Noxitril, call 800-993-1560. That's 800-993-1560. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now. 800-993-1560. 800-993-1560.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I am Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer. This is your Saturday show where we talk about things. After the last caller, we did mention that we all have our own way of storing all of our passwords and whatnot. So here's the main advice from our end. So if you put all of your passwords in one spot, it becomes a big target for someone to get that spot, get all your passwords. Now, I know your passwords are probably out there with all these hacks that happened. So you're probably changing them pretty regularly, which means that they're hard to remember, and you have to leave yourself breadcrumbs so that you don't forget them. I know it's a pain in the butt. I know it is something that all of us, I call it the password dance. Every time I say, hey, do you know what your password is? And I watch them scramble in sheer terror because they probably don't know what their password is, because I know that I don't. And so here's the strategies. Now, if you have just a sticky note with your password on your monitor, that's kind of relatively safe, because you're only going to expose your password list to people who have access to your house. And do you really care if those people in your house know what your passwords are? But when you make something digital and you put it in a place where more than just the people, because you can protect your front door and who comes in. But when you put them out there on like Notepad, or if I put a list on our Dropbox, or if I put a list somewhere else, now everyone who has access to the Dropbox then has access to what our passwords are. And so here's one of the services that we started trusting, early on. We started playing with LastPass, which was a sort of a password vault company. And so you basically let them manage all of your passwords. You remember one password, which is the one you use to log into their vault, and then they manage the passwords from that point. It's all encrypted, and that's sort of what we want. We want our passwords to, even the provider doesn't have access to our passwords. The only person that has access to our passwords are the person that knows the password for the service. And I honestly take it a step further, and I let LastPass make up the password. So if you even asked me what my password was, I wouldn't be able to give it to you. You would actually have to be me and log in as me and let LastPass fill in the password, because I wouldn't know it anyhow. Now, LastPass isn't the only one. There's another one called Dashlane that we see quite a bit out in the field, and the people who are using that one are pretty happy. And they're all using the sort of the same level and same model on how they keep it secure. I've not ever, that I know of, lost a password because of a password management company. But rather than having something in Notepad, which I have some passwords in Notepad, I have some password in my notes, like that last caller had said, but none of them, even if someone got them, they're not going to get very far because they're not really critical, important ones. Website passwords are the worst because there's so many of them, and they all have different, username makeup. Some of them are your email addresses. Some of them are a stupid username you made up in 7th grade, and every time you look at it, you're kind of embarrassed that it even exists, but you can't change it. That sounded like a personal account right there. But anyway, so having a service that you can offload that responsibility to is a pretty good idea, especially because it will force you to make a little bit more sophisticated passwords. LastPass, one of my favorite elements of LastPass is that if some website gets hacked and then it sees that you have a listing from that website, it will give you notification that says, hey, these 3 passwords you're going to want to change because this site got hacked or they had a problem with it, and it'll make those recommendations. It'll audit you and tell you where your levels are at. That's pretty valuable, from our end. Got a text message that came in. It said, the one thing about applying for jobs is that it seems like the resumes just disappear into cyberspace. Companies are desperate for employees, yet won't even give an interview or acknowledge that they even received the applications. That is sort of what we're doing across the board, though. We're basically dehumanizing. We're taking the person out of the equation and treating things just like their data. Now, so when it comes to learning your information, I want your stats. I want how many times you showed up for work late. I want to know, what your biggest rake was, how much money you made their biggest year and doing what you love and what you hate. All of those stats, I would say, yeah, that's the guy that I want to go after. I want to pursue them and pay up to be able to get them, just like I would in the NFL. And then I get to sit down with you, having known you and seeing your stats. Then I get to know you as an individual. But this commodity exchange, these transactional exchanges between employee and employer, I don't think this has a good end. So how can it be we have a ton of people who need work, and I know a ton of customers who need who need employees? How are those two things not matching up? How are I'm unable to find another John if I wanted to right now. Right, so it's because we're so transactional at this point. We do need to add the humanities back into that relationship, and I think everything from the history of labor and unions and that fragmentation, there's been a little bit of enemy creation between those two sides. When I want to find really, really good people, and I want to pay them as much money as I could possibly pay them, and I want them to take care of my customers. There's nobility in everything that I just stated there. If I can't find an employee that's going to agree with me that those are important to them too, then they need to go find an employer that is cool about, self-centeredness, and it's all about me and whatever, and that just wouldn't be me. But why is it so hard to be able to find those people? That's what I'm saying. With technology, it shouldn't be. In fact, the whole hiring process should be. The whole process should be just reinvented, and there's smart enough people to do it. There is enough technology to be able to do it. I just wonder why, if a company pops up and tackles this like Monster or like that, they just become a resume distribution system. Where the reason, to answer your question on the text message, the reason your resumes disappear is because fresh resumes are nice and valuable. Month-old resumes are not valuable anymore. So they're not going to keep shopping you and promoting your resume because it's old. You need to submit a new one so that they can collect the commission on having a hire come out of those resumes. And the data says that fresh resumes get people hired faster than old resumes. But I'm going to say if you got high stats and you're a rock star, I mean, you're going to put it out there for 2 seconds and get pursued because all employers want to go after people who are awesome, right? I mean, why not? Why is this system so mediocre, and why is it brought down to the lowest common denominator? That's my complaint. I was born in This is a text message, by the way. I was born in 1971. When was the last time you have known anyone to play Harry's Pitfall, maybe some Kaboom, Atari? Why can't they bring those games back in new form? Just asking. I bet most people don't even know what Harry's Pitfall is. And you know what? Just like in movies, they do these reboots because they still have a following. They still have enough presence in the marketplace that when you say, I'm going to release Ghostbusters, you know that you're going to have a couple million built in by default, right? It doesn't even have to be a great movie. You're just, the name on its own will stand. So, we've tried, we did Tecmo Bowl, for instance, and that was probably one of the most requested games. We had the most people show up from it, and it still has an amazing following. And when you're playing the game, you're like, I can't believe when I was playing this that I took it so serious. The graphics are so awful, but the gameplay is so, really simplified. But anyway, it's so fun to play because it's nostalgia. So the older group that grew up on that stuff, and then even the tweeners between those two generations, it's fun to play. I can't see much of the younger generation digging it because the games that they're used to are just so much more advanced. I don't know if it would be a little bit slow. It wouldn't be all that much of a challenge. But anyway, to answer your question, I really do hope some of those franchises do that. But here's the thing. Games have changed. The business of distribution of video games is being able to sell stuff within the game. And so if you have Fortnite, for instance, and they're billions of dollars, budget's bigger than movies, how can you even, if you take the serious developers and the serious marketers and you have them do a reboot of one of those games like Kaboom, how could you even take the same, you wouldn't be on the same level as those other games. You just couldn't promote it, and you couldn't have in-game currency, and you couldn't have buying that goes on when we've hit a different level where games have so much more of a budget than they used to. But I am almost certain that as John develops some of these tournaments, that we're going to have some retro stuff that are fit in along the way because we all love that stuff. I mean, we did a Super Mario Brothers. That was huge fun. My 9-year-old and I sat down and I got to play it, and it was so weird about how all of the things, the maps, the game, wherever my brain still remembered where hidden coins were and where the fire was going to pop up or where that tube went to. It was amazing how your brain just goes back there. And my 9-year-old loved it, and so yeah, I'm sure that will be a thing. So here, switching gears a little bit to my next topic. And this is more for having a marketing bent. For those of you who operate businesses out there, and we sort of mentioned before that when you start lining up with what you're going to do advertising-wise, how you're going to go after the next generation. We've told you over the last couple months that most of the next generation of media consumers specifically choose media where they do not have to buy things or see advertisements. If you start dropping advertisements in their format or in their media, they just move. They go somewhere else where they're not inundated with that kind of stuff. So you you have this impasse where you have these services that need people to buy from them or to participate in them, and then you have the consumer who doesn't want to deal with the exact thing that supports what they want. So it's going to be like you take an Instagram. And then Instagram can't figure out a way to actually make money because they don't want to put ads there, because if they put ads there, the people use Instagram. So then something else comes up, and then your consumers all just drop that and jump to the next thing. But none of the models ever figure out a way to make money doing it. So what if commercials, like on this station, make everything happen here? The electricity on, the producer behind the glass, the person behind the microphone, every piece of equipment takes the commercials in order to be able to support. You as listeners, all you have to do is support the people who advertise. Listen to those commercials. The commercials are willing to support the platform, and then you are interested enough in the content to be listeners. That works out. But the next generation, I can't say, are willing to do that because, like I said, you start playing commercials in front of them, and they're off. They're going to pick another platform that doesn't inundate them. But here's what they are doing, and this is turning into a science that's bigger than the trying to figure out the product placement and the advertisements and how to reach them and whatnot. Is this thing with influencers, okay? And the next generation are more susceptible to buying things based on the people that they follow also buying those things. So if you have a person, so you have a 15-year-old kid that garners an audience of 10-year-old kids and then some, 20 million of those, and that guy says, "Hey, I just bought a blah blah blah," right? Well, that's how it's happening. But why are people following those people, right? So what makes certain personalities and certain skill sets sort of the listening audiences and the watching audiences gravitate to? Because I'll tell you, half of these people I can't figure out what the what the allure is. I don't really know why people would be interested in watching a little kid unbox toys. But guess what? He is unboxing toys, and he's making more money than you and I doing it. So the next generation of advertising could be in finding someone who has a following and purchasing some of that influencers, that personality's recommendation. And if you think back, athletes have been doing it for years, and singers have been doing it for years. You had, Michael Jackson taking down a Pepsi, and he sold Pepsi that way. So this isn't a new concept, but it's being wielded in a different way. So you're sitting, you rent equipment, heavy machinery, right? So what you're listening to me say right now is you're going to have to go find an influencer to be able to reach someone in the next generation to buy heavy equipment, right? That's a hard stretch. It's good for retail goods and it's good for services, But, how do you capture some notoriety from someone who's known to be able to push a product that's hard to sell? You are, you go on you support a baseball team or you put an ad on the radio or you put an ad on television. That all makes sense because that's where listeners go. What happens, though, when listeners aren't going somewhere? They don't have to be somewhere. And that's what we have to tool around and figure out, that as media becomes, your dad used to come home, sit in the chair, read the newspaper, watch the news. So he was at least in front of the TV probably twice a day and had the newspaper in his hand. So if you wanted to reach dad, where would you go? It's a shoe-in. Newspaper ads, television ads during the news, right? And then you get into primetime television. But what about if all of the viewers and listeners could pay to not have ads? So I do YouTube Red, right? I pay $10, I think it is, a month, and I don't have to watch ads, right? So all of my content is me. I don't want to hear advertisements when I'm watching my YouTube videos, because that is super annoying to watch videos in the middle or watch commercials in the middle of videos. So I'm willing to pay it. So what happens if, the only people that what are you going to do as advertisers when all of the medias are kicking out the regular advertising the way that it used to be? So that those influencers are filling a piece of that for those ones that make it. But I'm most worried about the non-retail. I'm the service oriented. If I were starting Youngstown Computer right now and I needed to do advertising, who would I go after? How would I advertise it? Would I put commercials on TV or radio? Or the next generation are different buyers than the previous generation. So we'll talk a little bit about more of that in the coming weeks, because we're just putting this together. We're trying to master this just like everybody else is, but we've got insight. We were watching this stuff go down, spread across 50 or 60 companies, and see what everybody's doing. So we'll talk more about that. 330-729-9977 is the phone number. You can also text me at 333-1570. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. I'll be back.
Hey, gang, we do the show live every day, 8 to noon, but if you can't catch it, we're on the podcast. Just search Dan Rivers 570 WKBN.
At Land Pro, we're pros at finding your perfect fit. Right now, you can get a John Deere 1023E subcompact utility tractor with Auto Connect drive-over mower deck and 120R loader for less than your cell phone bill. Land Pro equipment has the attachments you need for every season and at a price you can afford. Stop by your nearest Land Pro equipment location or request a quote at landproequipment.com.
John Deere and Land Pro equipment, pros helping you work away.
First pitch is 7:05 tonight at Eastwood Field in Niles as your Mahoning Valley Scrappers battle the Auburn Doubledays, minor league affiliate of the Washington Nationals. It's also Scrappers Fauxback Jersey Night, presented by Western Reserve Orthotics and Prosthetic Center, with proceeds benefiting Akron Children's Hospital, Mahoning Valley. For tickets, call 330-505-0000 or online at mvscrappers.com. The Mahoning Valley Scrappers, baseball with bite.
Give your backyard an update with landscape and patio blocks and save with 11% off everything from Menards. Create an attractive outdoor space with Menards' great selection of concrete landscape blocks. Whether it's landscaping, a spacious patio, or a sturdy retaining wall, there's no limit to what you can create with so many styles and options to choose from. Save with 11% off everything at Menards. Good through August 10th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Summer is here, and Matt's got the barbecue out all ready to grill. That's why he trusts Super Poly Grip, so he can enjoy his steak with full confidence.
Poly Grip.
Sounds like there's a party going on, but something's missing. The birthday gal's arrived, and thanks to Polydent, her bright smile is anything but a surprise.
Polydent.
At Indeed, we believe a resume is a great way to see an overview of a candidate, but you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why Indeed offers tools that help bridge the gap between a candidate and the resume, like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Experience Indeed for yourself today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, friends. This is Ron Burgundy. Season 2 of the Ron Burgundy Podcast is out now.
The Ron Burgundy Podcast is back with a brand new season on the free iHeartRadio app.
It felt good. I thought it was entertaining.
Open the free iHeartRadio app, tap podcasts, and listen to the Ron Burgundy Podcast. Make sure you tap follow so you don't miss a thing.
iHeartRadio is #1 for podcasts, and it's easy to see why. Find the Ron Burgundy Podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I am Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer, talking about things in marketing and how the next generation is consuming the stuff that they're either buying or purchasing. And so we floated this whole influencer thing, and let me tell you how this really goes down. So you take somebody who's got the world paying attention. So you either go to Twitter and find some people that have lots of following, and you can rent what they say. You can rent them doing a name drop or posting something about you, and you will get this immediate response from the followers, where those followers will start to also pay attention to you. And so, I mean, even if you're doing traditional marketing and you just want to buy some exposure, where you've got an followed Twitter channel, right? And so you want to get I had 10 at one point, right? And I never really wanted or needed to be able to develop a channel. But let's just say tomorrow I know that I need to develop a Twitter channel. So I go and find one and say, hey, would you mind making a name drop on your Twitter for the Youngstown Computer Twitter account? And be like, yeah, I'll send you my PayPal information. And I say, how much? And they say something like, $750, I'll mention you. I say, okay, good deal. I send them $750. They do a name drop, and now I just rented them mentioning me, and I got exactly out of it what I wanted to, which is if they can find a way for people to take what people are paying attention with you and rent and loan to you for a price, that's what they're going to do. And so when people ask me, I want to give my grandson or my kid some good advice on what they should be getting into, developing a niche that separates you from someone else, where people are paying attention to you. And I know that's not like the most healthy thing to recommend, but the most valuable thing in the marketplace on the next deal are you're going to have innovators, entrepreneurs, and people who are really good at the next generation of marketing. Those are going to be the three big, the three big. The people who create stuff. I mean, we've got the Elon Musks and the Steve Jobs, and there will always be those people that headline. But I'm telling you, everyday regular people that don't have billions of dollars to be able to do this can develop an audience of people that pay attention to them, because social media will pay attention to literally anything. You could paint rocks and develop a following of 1 million people who like people who paint rocks. I'm telling you, nothing is off limits. And so, if you can put a camera, put a stationary camera and come up with ideas and start creating content and continue to create content, eventually the social media and the rest of the internet will find you and what it is that you do, and you can literally make a following out of anything. And then again, you can rent your audience, the people who pay attention to other people. And it sounds weird that that's even a thing, but I'm just telling you that it really is a thing. Right now I could rent, there's a website that basically brokers this kind of business. And if I could find somebody in a certain industry, the prices are listed, I could type something in and they will mention me for a certain price. Across the board, I could do it in like 10 minutes from now. So again, it's new, it's different, it's weird, but it's certainly a thing. And we've dabbled in a little bit, but I certainly am going to create a couple of these. We're interested in doing live events. We're interested in doing entertainment. Well, it's super important for social media to know that you exist when you want to pull that stuff off. So, all right. 330-729-9977. You can text me at 333-1570. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. I'll be back.
This is Eric Clark with Fairway Ford in Canfield. We are on a record pace for F-150 sales, and we are going to keep that going. What that means is Fairway, your F-150 leader, gets more trucks from the factory because we sell more. We sell the most because of price, service, and a simple no-haggle sales process. See us at fairwayfordohio.com or 330-533-FORD. Fairway, that's the way we do business.
Hey, it's Ron Verb for Nature Stone. Summer is slipping by, and you haven't called Nature Stone yet? Better get moving. I want to transform that garage of yours into a welcoming entryway. I want to eliminate puddling standing water so you don't have to worry about slipping. Let's cover that uneven concrete so no more tripping. Nature Stone eliminates the safety hazards. Say if you got crack-pitted, buckle, uneven, and ugly concrete, let's get rid of it with Nature Stone. Get Nature Stone installed in your garage by the end of August. Get up to 50% off. Schedule your free in-home estimate at naturestone.com.
On AM and thousands of devices, including Amazon Echo, Google Home, and Sonos. With our iHeartRadio app, 570 WKBN, Youngstown. It's 2 o'clock.
From ABC News, I'm Uni Han. Attorney General William Barr says the death of accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein leaves, quote, serious questions that must be answered. ABC's Aaron Katersky with more.
Attorney General William Barr is said to be livid over the death by suicide of Jeffrey Epstein. We're told the Attorney General is wondering how such a high-profile defendant can take his own life inside MCC Manhattan, especially after Epstein had gone to the hospital last month under circumstances that still have not been explained. He was involved in some kind of an altercation, perhaps with another inmate, and ended up being slightly injured.
Epstein was found unresponsive inside his cell at the New York City Federal Detention Facility. An autopsy could come as soon as Sunday. Epstein's death is not in the criminal case against him. The FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office will continue to evaluate allegations from women who have come forward. The FBI also investigating a Connecticut man arrested in connection with a Facebook post threatening the Puerto Rican Day Parade in New Haven. City Police Chief Otoniel Reyes.
Especially with the climate today around the country, where hateful rhetoric has led to violence, we wanted to make sure that our public here in New Haven and the national public knew that this was not something we were going to take lightly.
53-year-old Jeffrey Hansen posting the $50,000 bond. Gun control, a major issue among Democrats running for president at the Iowa State Fair this week. The candidates responding to the president's push for background checks. ABC's Mary Bruce.
The candidates are pointing out, look, we have heard this from Trump before, that he's come out in the past, called for some kinds of gun reforms, and then just a few days later, he's changed his tune. While the president is insisting he can get the gun lobby and Republicans on board, that is still a big remaining question. And Democratic candidates say they simply are not going to hold their breath and hope that Donald Trump all of a sudden can change his ways.
The president spending time at his club in Bedminster, New Jersey this weekend. You're listening to ABC News.
Here's what's happening. A man from the Detroit, Michigan area pleaded guilty to amended sex charges in a Mahoning County court yesterday and will spend 11 years in prison. Paul Penman pleaded to 2 counts of sexual battery and 1 count of gross sexual imposition. U.S. Marshals arrested Penman in Michigan earlier this year on charges related to the rape of a young girl from Boardman. Lordstown Motors Corporation wants to use workhorse technology to build electric commercial pickup trucks at GM Lordstown. State Senator Sean O'Brien says the company plans to put its company headquarters in the valley, but it's not a done deal yet. Lordstown Motors Corporation wants to hire local UAW workers, but a contract with GM is holding that up. An investigation is underway after a report of an erratic driver in Boardman led to the discovery of suspected drugs and drug paraphernalia inside a van. Police pulled over someone driving a roofing company's van yesterday on a Market Street. No one was immediately charged. Bob Marino was selected to return as president of Niles City Council. He was approved by the city's precinct committee people. He replaces Barry Steffrey, who resigned last week. Marino will also be the Democratic nominee on the November ballot, where he's unopposed. Youngstown Mayor Tito Brown has been appointed by Governor Mike DeWine to serve on the Census 2020 Complete Count Commission. The commission will help oversee Ohio's census count and come up with strategies to reach the hard-to-count populations. The mayor will represent Mahoning County. Eddie Howard Jr. will represent Trumbull County. Trumbull County has released the latest drug overdose statistics. Since January, 52 people have died from overdoses in Trumbull County. According to the county coroner, 83% of the deaths include the use of fentanyl. For the year so far, Trumbull County has recorded 412 overdoses. This time last year, there were 376. From the Power Chevrolet Buick GMC of Calcutta, Ohio newsroom, I'm Dave Price.
Cool your home for summer. Call Maz's Air Conditioning in Girard. 330-545-6063. Your factory authorized Bryant dealer. Now, the Storm Team 27 forecast.
Great weather to start our weekend for your Saturday with mostly sunny skies today and a high of 78. For tonight, mostly clear skies and a bit cool with a low of 55. From the Storm Team 27 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jason Surjak.
Hey guys, what puts a bigger smile on your face than driving around in a clean, older four-wheel drive truck? Imagine pulling into the hardware store in that lifted 85 Chevy K20 or getting all the thumbs up driving down the road in that 76 F-250 Highboy. This is Joe Fire from Fireball Motors. We sell those trucks. We specialize in non-rusty West Coast trucks from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s that are under 10 grand. We are located on Route 422, just an eighth mile from the PA border, or online at fireballtrucks.com. And remember, Fireball means four-wheel drive.
At Tecovas, we make the finest handcrafted Western boots from the highest quality materials, sold only direct to you for a fair price. So why aren't you in boots? Picture it. Walking into that next meeting in handsome, tough-looking boots, like you have your own soundtrack. While everyone else is in, what, loafers? You didn't kick the door down, but you look like you could have. Find your pair at Tecovas.com. That's Tecovas.com.
Tired for no reason? Muscle weakness or high blood pressure? The cause can be as simple as a vitamin D deficiency. People in Northeast Ohio and Western PA don't make enough vitamin D, and it affects their health. Listen this Sunday morning at 7 a.m. for more information. That's Sunday at 7 a.m.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show, hour number 2 of the program today. So if you want to get on the phone lines, 330-729-9977. Want to welcome everybody over on Facebook Live for tuning in, monitoring the chat over on that side. So feel free if you've got any questions over there. I'll be happy to read them live and on air. And you can also text me at 330-333-1570. And I think that text line that we added here was probably, it's a blessing curse kind of thing, but it's really cool for the interactivity of listeners. I've been on the, listen to the program. I'm knee deep into a project, and something clicks that I need to tell the host or whatever, and it's really cool to be able to just send that message over via simple text messaging, and I couldn't call. There'd be no way that I could call at the time, but it's really been pretty valuable. So I appreciate those of you who participate in all of the programs over that way. Again, the number's 333-1570. Something that we've always done at Youngstown Computer from the sort of the very beginning was we had a lot of stuff we did training-wise. I used to really love being an in-person trainer where I can get in front of a group of students and we could start teaching a topic and they could pick my brain and ask live questions, and I can lean over their shoulder and walk them through and talk them through some of the stuff that was irritating them. Every class that we had a light bulb moment where somebody made a discovery in the class, and it might not even been part of the topic, but because you put me in the same room with a lot of people who wanted to know stuff. Over the last couple of years, it's not been what it once was, where people are less than eager to leave their house and go do like in-person training, and it feels kind of clunky. It never had that. I mean, we've always had that personal touch. I'm telling you, from the very beginning, we had a group of 25 or 30 people who would take every class that we offered and would just travel from one class to not, and they were so regular. They used to set the next topic of the class. They would just take a vote and say, hey, we want to post some stuff on eBay, so teach me eBay, and then that would be the next class. And they would say, hey, we want to learn how to take pictures for eBay, and then that would be the next class. And I'm kind of a laid-back guy, so, where I had a whole syllabus of things I wanted to put out there, we had these people who were so eager to learn. I really want to start getting that, going again. So we have a couple of September classes / work. I don't even know what to call these things anymore. They're just me in a room with a bunch of people who'd like to learn something. And that's sort of like that influencer talk we had. It all comes down to the people buy from those influencers because of the trust relationships that they have with them. And that's the same thing that we've done here at 570. All of the people that do these service shows on here, you get to know them, their personalities, what they are, what they're not, and you extend just a little bit of trust because you know they're close enough to listen to. I'm not going anywhere. I've been here for 20 years in the Valley operating as a business. So when you start doing business with me, I can't say that I've never made a mistake or done something wrong, but I'm here. I'm not a guy that runs away from things. I make everything right. So, we're going to make an attempt in September to get these things rolling again. We have a guy that I'm bringing on staff this week that is a really good communicator. His name is Stoles, or we refer to him as Stoles, and he's going to be going in tandem with me teaching a couple of these things. And I really want to influence him to be completely open, to go off topic, and to have people in the room that if they want to know something, hit me with it, because I'm so dynamic. Our people are so good at what they do that they don't mind snapping out of a role where 1 minute we're teaching how to save your password or wipe a password out in Firefox, and the next minute we're teaching you about aperture settings in your digital camera or your phone camera. So anyway, I again, every time I've asked, you guys have always come through. And so just like we wanted to become service provider on the commercial side, you guys came through and supported us. Just like we wanted to manufacture computers. I'll tell you, we're manufacturing computers at a clip like more than I ever imagined we could do. So again, this is all on you guys, and knowing that you guys are paying up to have a Valley company produce computers that you could get cheaper. If that was the goal, you could get them cheaper elsewhere, but you're standing up, you're spending the extra money to make sure that we have a person here that's putting our manufacturing together. And I really appreciate that, because that shows how loyal all of you are to the service companies that are associated with the show, and again, part of this Valley. Because I'm super happy to give back and to help entrepreneurs in our Valley get started, because honestly, we've got great labor force, we've got great utilities, we've got low cost of living, we got all of these things that we're on the comeback, and it's just a matter of you as the public supporting people that are vowing to build up this community. So I want to be at triple the size by next year that I am right now. I want to add about, I think, 6 more staff on the technical end. That's 6 more staff that aren't going to have to go to a Cleveland or Pittsburgh or a market that can support a $60,000 or $70,000 wage. I want to do that right here, because that $60,000 or $70,000 wage can go buy a house and go support things in our area, like restaurants and where you buy your appliances. So if we got these people that I'm going to keep it local, and I'm going to support the people who I can have a face-to-face interaction with, I'm telling you, good things can happen. So that's what my goal is to do. I'm going to keep adding tech people. I'm going to keep adding manufacturing people. I'm going to keep adding entrepreneurs and people who want to imagine and create. We've got artists and people who are going to put graphics and video and audio together. So all across the board, I want to keep professionals that are in our area here with good money and spending good money in this area, because that's really the only way you combat, the GMs leaving town and everybody, feels bad and it's awful. But we have the ability to keep it here, but authentic. If we've got a loyal area that supports our community and everybody does it across the board without, taking chunks out of everybody, then think about all the people that would be lined up to come to an area that was that loyal to the people who participate. And that's really, from the consumer end, hold us accountable that when we make a purchase, we spend more than we have to on things that could be manufactured here. I just watched someone on social media, I think it was Bob Hagan. He's shopping for some furniture, and he polled all of social media that says, hey, I want to buy some furniture. Is there anybody here local that does it? That made my heart happy, because I think everybody, he collected a public paycheck for the longest time, and he's spending part of that public paycheck on someone local. And do you think that furniture is going to be more expensive or cheaper than he can get down at the retail store? It's going to be more expensive, but he can say that he supported someone local. And that's what it's about. You guys have always done that with us, so I know that we have it in us, and I want it to be sort of like a feeling that's carried from all areas of our community, not just the one that's loyal to this station, but everyone. Let's not begrudge another person from making a living, right? Because that seems to be what happens, where we kind of want to deny someone from making a buck. That happens an awful lot, and I understand why. We have this defensive thing when it comes to money, where we buy for a cheap price, and that means that business operates at a lower cost. Well, that also works against you too. If you're working at a premium where what you sell is at a premium, then you can buy stuff also at a premium, and that kind of lifts everything up. So it's the authentic way of doing this by force. It's all of us decide that that's what we're going to do, and it works with this. It's the same math. Right? We all spend more than we have to support the people, and then those people turn around and support other people. And with that feeling, when you start seeing someone saying, let's bid it out and find the lowest price, do you think that really adds value to our community, or do you think we're just looking at lowest cost? Because what are you going to do now that you save the cost? Well, you're going to be able to bill lower, and maybe you'll have to pay lower, and you won't have to make better you won't be able to make as many capital improvements over your company and big investments in research and development. That feels like shrinking, and I want us to all grow. So I want all of you to be okay with paying 15% more than you can anywhere else. Just get in your mind that you're going to be able to see a thing, and it's going to cost 15% elsewhere, but that 15% purchases you involvement in a community. And so I know that's a long diatribe about how I'm urging you that when we promote, and these service guys all promote it, let's do our best to support these guys. And honestly, I think they do a wonderful job of sharing their mind and their services and their attention with the public. And I want to make sure that we keep that around, because that's a big value that we have that not all communities have. So 330-729-9977 is the number here. You can text me at 333-1570. Here's a text message. There's a serious problem with how people source their information from media. With all the changes in algorithms on Google and other outlets that show the top search results being opinion editorials as opposed to statistics and studies being towards the top, I am wondering, do you have any solutions for that? I know how to properly search and source data, but many people don't. Many people need to be told what to think from opinion editorials. And that's a really, really, really important and good point. Because not necessarily, okay, so news agencies are businesses. The more eyes they have on them, the more money they make from ad revenue, right? And the more of an audience means that the more valuable the programming. So what people need to see and what people will pay attention to are sometimes very different things. I know you want people to be attracted to truth, but that's not always the case. Look at the current political situation we have right now. How much of it is marketing and how much of it is just objective truth? Very little. So we've already kind of telegraphed to the marketplace that we like truth in some certain circumstances, but we want to pay attention to a big train wreck sometimes. And so what are they going to produce? So the algorithms, if you were to poll people's happiness or people's psychological connection with the world, you're just being delivered what makes people happy. I don't think that most of this is nefarious. I don't think that Google's hiding certain things from certain people. I mean, it could be, but I don't think that's the case. I think that's a byproduct. You're writing a math formula that can segment out things that are unpopular or detract from the value of something. So then you have an opinion of somebody of what detracts the value will hide certain information. So you can see how that rabbit hole goes down where, let's just say you get a crop of new engineers, and they're writing the algorithm and saying, hey, the word whatever is detracting from the value. Then anything that's associated with that word gets put into the garbage heap, and everything that doesn't is the opposite. So here's the thing, and it's a request that will never be adhered to because it can't. If you can get people to not pay attention to the dramatics, then Google write algorithms that want to give people just data and let them mull it over for themselves. But I watch countless people offload the responsibility of how they feel about something to personalities. You know how many people decide to wait till Rush Limbaugh adds his commentary to something before they know how to feel about it? You know how many times they see something and they go to MSNBC and see how those commentators are feeling about it before they decide? So we know that, we're waiting for somebody that we trust to weigh in on stuff before we know how to feel about it. So we're not really good at collecting, you and I may be. I want objective facts. I like data. I'm a math guy, right? I don't need you to tell me how you feel about it, thinking that that's what I wanted you to do. But we're outliers here. We're not the normal. Normal people do not want to crowd their brain with stuff like figuring out things that don't matter and I put that in quotes, things that don't matter, because what is real to them is how they interact with the world, not their opinion on philosophical things. And that's what this comes down to is, I read the news to find out, take the pressures and the barometer of the world around us. How safe are we? What are the chances that the economy expands or doesn't? Who's going to get elected? I mean, all of this stuff, there's a feeling where we're pushing towards the progress of X, and we can pay attention to that in slow motion because it works that way. But yeah, thank you for that text message. Hi, Joe. I'm a new listener. I think you ought to provide personal cybersecurity classes. This would help everyday consumers. Okay, this is awesome because that is exactly what the class is. So this is sort of crafted so that when an end user, whether it be at a company or whether it be sitting in front of your home computer, we are going to give demonstrations about the things that users see and then how to combat those. So you want to pull up to a computer and watch a computer get infected because you might not have ever gotten infected, but we're going to have a virtual environment. We're going to infect a computer so you could see, double click, it opens up, what it does, how to defend against it. So these are going to be really dramatic demonstrations of email hacks and Wi-Fi hacks. We're going to do this stuff in front of you so that. So thank you for that question. I don't know who you are, but I truly hope that you'll sign up for our class. It's going to be September 18th, 19th, and 21st. So 18th is a Wednesday. We're going to have it in the morning, 10 until noon. And then the next day, we're going to have it later in the afternoon, I believe 2 to 4. And then the weekend class, the one on Saturday, is going to be happening when this program, 1 to 3. I will be teaching the Wednesday class, and then I'll be doing a half and half with Stoles on the Thursday class, and then Stoles will be doing the class on his own on that Saturday. But thank you for that text message. It's exactly what I had in mind, which is a personal security defense class. And you can go over to Facebook. I have the event posted on the Youngstown Computer site, our Youngstown Computer page. So go to Youngstown Computer LLC. You'll look for events, and all 3 of those dates are there. Just let me know that you're interested. And the tickets are already over on Eventbrite. I'm only selling 12 tickets per class, so make sure you go over there. That is Facebook. Look up Youngstown Computer LLC, and then search for the events that I have posted for that security defense. But that was awesome. That lined up perfect for what I wanted to pitch on the class. So, all right, we're going to take a break. 330-729-9977. You can also text 333-1570. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. We'll be right back.
News happens.
It's all happening
fast.
Very fast.
Faster than even I envisioned.
So you just got to keep up.
Next stop.
As we go forward,
check in often.
They're going to do something.
For news as it happens.
It's going to happen right here.
On 570 WKBN.
Festival and $1,000 to spend while you're in Vegas. More than 30 of the biggest music superstars, handpicked by iHeartRadio. 2 nights.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
Plus the daytime stage. See Tim McGraw, Backstreet Boys, Alicia Keys, Hootie and the Blowfish, and many, many more. Hosted by Ryan Seacrest. Listen for your next chance to text and win access to our iHeartRadio Music Festival. Plus $1,000 spending cash.
It's happening to you every night. One snores and the other can't sleep. But now, there is a quick and easy-to-use solution, a natural solution. Snore Stop, the #1 selling anti-snoring medicine in the U.S.
Thank you, Snore Stop. You saved my marriage.
It's time to try Snore Stop and make every night a better night for both of you. Spray or tablets are available today at Rite Aid and CVS or online at snorestop.com.
At Indeed, we believe a resume is a great way to see an overview of a candidate, but you're not hiring a resume. You're hiring a person. That's why Indeed offers tools that help bridge the gap between a candidate and the resume. Like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Experience Indeed for yourself today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/promo. Terms and conditions apply.
It's time for Taylor Kia of Boardman, and the grand opening of Taylor Kia of Hermitage. Now open. Get the ultimate Kia shopping experience and hassle-free credit approval from the Taylor Credit Team during our hot summer savings event. Test drive the 2019 Kia Optima or Sportage today. Both top safety picks. Calling all trades. Don't make a $6,000 mistake. Taylor gives you up to $6,000 over Kelley Blue Book Fair Trade. Taylor Kia of Boardman.com and the all-new Taylor Kia Hermitage.com. It's time for Taylor Kia.
Well-qualified buyers with approved credit on select inventory. Down pay and term vary. See dealer for complete details.
Keep your car's outdoor equipment and more protected with steel shelters and get 11% off all of it. Versatube Building Systems has a huge variety of metal carports, shelters, and buildings. A 20x20 steel shelter is large enough to store 2 vehicles side by side. On sale for $1,325.21 after 11% off. Save with 11% off everything at Menards. Good through August 10th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Texting enrolls for recurring automated marketing text messages. Message and data rates may apply. Free meals provided with order. Texting privacy rules and terms and conditions at textrules.us.
If you don't have the time for the grocery store but love a great home-cooked meal, Martha Stewart wants to give you 3 free meals for your own in-home taste test. That's right. Martha's meal kit delivery service, Martha and Marley Spoon, is giving away 3 full-size meals with all fresh ingredients and Martha's delicious and easy recipes. Putting amazing dinners on the table has never been so easy. You'll be eating in just 30 minutes. To be part of Martha's at-home taste test and get 3 free meals, be one of the first 100 people to text MAKE to 246810. Forget about awful frozen food and unhealthy fast food. Martha wants you to enjoy 3 of her best 30-minute meals for free, so you can save time and enjoy eating dinner again. To get your 3 free, fast, and delicious meals from Martha, text MAKE to 246810. That's MAKE to 246810. Text MAKE to 246810.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. I'm Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer, and this is your Saturday show where we get to talk about things that are happening in tech, get to help school you and coach you through some things that maybe were out of reach for you, but in hopes that we put a little bit more in reach of you, doing our best to dispense the information and talk about things that are happening. So thanks to everybody for joining us, even out on Facebook Live and those on the iHeartRadio app. And then terrestrial, those are listening to us on the 570 traditional terrestrial broadcast. So I appreciate all of you being out there. A little bit about the services that we provide. We are again, extending our staff, our commercial services staff. So those of you that have businesses, we are staffing up. We're adding people that can handle the influx. This year is going to be off the hook as far as the number of capital improvements that companies are making, as well as some of the changeover from Windows 7 being cycled out and upgrading everyone to Windows 10. We've started here we started in July, the process, because typically everybody waits to the last minute because Microsoft has lulled us into that. They're going to get to January and just extend the date. But as of right now, still looks to be the end of January. I think it's January 20th. The Windows 7 will no longer be receiving any support or updates. And so anything that's touching the internet or providing an important role, we're getting cycled out of that. And like I said, we can only do so many at a time, so that's why we're starting now. And then towards the end of the year, I'm sure it's going to get crazy. So we're adding lots of staff. Those of you who've been sort of hanging tight on the residential, we haven't made it easy as far as drop-offs or being able to engage with that side of the company. We've opened up 2 windows, a morning and an afternoon appointment window where we can come to you and do those services, and we're gonna stick to that for a little while. I just don't see the need in having a staff, person staffing a front counter when there's not enough work in that area to justify it. So as we get back into that and we add some more people on the resident, I mean our commercial staff's already overwhelmed with not overwhelmed, but we're maxed out with the amount of stuff that's coming in. I do not want to take anybody's attention away from getting those project stuff done. But as we add more level 1 people, and bench people that we might be able to take on a little bit more of stuff. So here's the quandary on the residential services. So we get tasked with or requests from, hey, I have this tablet. Can you do X, right? Well, the tablet costs $200, and what you want to do X-wise is going to cost you $100. It's really tough to justify the $100 part of that because the tablet was so inexpensive. So whereas I could lower my rate and then make it affordable to do that task, that would mean literally taking away from somebody else who's shaking me to get my attention. So that's why we're kind of in this deal where I don't want you to spend $100 on that tablet just as much as you don't. I mean, yeah, we could technically do the work, but again, it's just not. We just don't have the staff to be able to do that. But what I'm looking for in the future is that maybe taking when we have some technical staff that's on the bench and they have some windows that are open that would go unused anyway, we can offer some of those up for some of those lower cost services. And since the time would be wasted, maybe rush a couple of those in there and get those lower end stuff. So rather doing something rather than nothing, that kind of a thing. So we can use that to kind of keep a bench person busy. So that's my idea going in the future. So I appreciate everybody who's been patient with that residential services as we get things geared back up. But if you're interested in either of those time slots, we're still scheduling 2 a day, morning and afternoon. Call the number 330-259-7278 and tell them that you want to do the morning, the 10 to 12, 10 to 12, or 2 to 4. All right, you're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKVN. I'll be right back.
And affordability, the most important things when choosing a place to live. Westchester Square Apartments offers something to fit every need and budget. 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, and studio apartments. They rent apartments, but they sell convenience. You can find luxury living at Westchester Executive Apartments, 1,200 square feet of upscale living with carports, or independent senior living at Westchester Commons, strategically located in the center of Austintown, right next to Route 11. For the perfect apartment, call 330-799-5758. Come and be a good neighbor in a community of good neighbors. Westchester Square Apartments, Austintown.
Here's some of the stories we're working on. A man from the Detroit, Michigan area pleaded guilty to amended sex charges in a Mahoning County court yesterday. Lordstown Motors Corporation wants to use workhorse technology and build electric commercial pickup trucks at GM Lordstown. An investigation is underway after an erratic driver in Boardman led to the discovery of suspected drugs and drug paraphernalia inside a van. The incident happened yesterday on Market Street. Bob Marino was selected to return as president of Niles City Council. He was approved by the city's precinct committee people. Youngstown Mayor Tito Brown has been appointed by Governor Mike DeWine to serve on the Census 2020 Complete Count Commission. And Trumbull County has released the latest drug overdose statistics. Since January, 52 people have died from overdoses in Trumbull County. From the Power Chevrolet Buick GMC of Calcutta, Ohio newsroom, I'm Dave Price.
Our next update at 3. From the O'Charley's Digital Studios. $9.99 menu, 9 great meals, 1 great price. O'Charley's.
Need an AC checkup? Call Mazda's Air Conditioning at Girard, 330-545-6063. Your factory authorized Bryant dealer. Now, the Storm Team 27 forecast.
Great weather to start our weekend for your Saturday with mostly sunny skies today and a high of 78. For tonight, mostly clear skies and a bit cool with a low of 55. From the Storm Team 27 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jason Surjak.
From America's best-selling automobile to the world's toughest trucks, there's a reason why customers are driving from Youngstown, Boardman, Austintown, Hermitage, even Cleveland and Pittsburgh. So come and find out for yourself at our all-new state-of-the-art facility on Route 46. See you at Toyota of Warren.
One of the most successful groups in rock history. 3 Dog Night in concert with all their hits. November 17th, 7 p.m. Packard Music Hall. 3 Dog Night. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com or Packard Music Hall box office. 3 Dog Night, celebrating 4 decades of hits. Produced by JAC Live.
Hey, it's Ron Verb for Nature Stone. Never replace your basement flooring again. With those horrible storms that gave you moisture, dampness, or flooding in your basements, and then you're removing smelly, nasty, moldy, ruined carpets, Nature Stone's the only solution that will stand up to moisture, dampness, even flooding. I repeat, it's the only solution. It's simple to clean and maintain. It's comfortable, too. So if your basement's damp, dirty, not somewhere you want to spend time, let's change that with Nature's Stone. Get it installed in your basement by the end of August. Get up to 50% off. Schedule your free in-home estimate at naturestone.com.
Hey guys, it's Sue Cosner, your favorite sexual health expert, with another version of Ask the Pro. This month, I got a letter from Sandy in Seattle about an explosive bedroom secret she and her husband recently discovered. She writes, Dear Sue, my husband and I used to have a great life in the bedroom, but in the last few years, he has struggled. He's tried about everything, but nothing has worked. Then one day he came home and gave me a night I will never forget. He told me about this secret formula, Noxatril, that changed our life in the bedroom once and for all. Wow, Sandy, you beat me to it. I recommend Noxatril to every guy that struggles in the bedroom. It's the only one. Noxatril is all natural and works to increase blood flow fast. It's like that little blue pill on steroids. Noxatril has a special free bottle offer, shipped discreetly to your door.
To find out how to get your bottle of Noxatril, call 800-993-1560. That's 800-993-1560. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now. 800-993-1560. 800-993-1560.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. I am Joe Danier, owner of Youngstown Computer. I just feel like I've been pitching all show long, so I'm going to take it easy and give some information away rather than just selling something. It just feels that way. I know we hit a bunch of topics today, but I feel I went hard in that last segment. Gail Yeager, he's been a super supporter of the program, good supporter of this work, of the station and all the programming that goes here. So this is the weekend that I go camping. And it's, I love my unplugging weekends, and I haven't yet gotten to unplug, but we started the whole camping thing, put up a tent and got the fire started last night, and I was really ready to, start doing that. I haven't yet, and again, but Gail said that I had survived camping. Well, Gail, I'm going back there right after the program and finishing off my kickback in front of the lake, fishing with my son, and camping. So thank you for recognizing that. Text message that came in. Hello, Joe. The segment was indeed helpful to consider what media in general works, like to either an advantage or a detriment. I am most curious about a media that works best to create a brand around a product. I am going to be manufacturing a smart case in the coming year, and I want to write an app that will make these particular designs a following and family to be a part of rather than just a custom commodity someone can compete with. So 2 questions. Do you or someone you know who writes apps to this effect, and what media is the best to consider the creating of a brand? Thanks, great show. Great question. And this is when it comes to marketing, it's a little bit more than I can just give you in a couple of lines on here. But here, let me give you the overall philosophy of marketing. It sounds like you're doing a product that you're putting your heart and soul in. You're making it different, and if the people are going to be able to contribute, they're going to be able to participate. They're going to be able to become a fan of whatever it is your product. And so you as a marketer, you're basically a storyteller. So you have to start thinking about what differentiates. And I know this is marketing talk and it always sounds very cliche, but you really have to, if you're going to tell a story, it has to be a different product, legitimately a different product, so people can rally around it and believe in it and support it. So if it is a commodity product, and you have to make it a not commodity product by allowing it to participate with the general public differently than all other products. So whether it be something that allows something that you can buy anywhere, but if you purchase it with me, you get to participate in an overall group, or it does activism in a certain way. That's sort of how you have to think. So you, as primary storyteller for your product, have to be able to connect with people who will get on board and be fans of whatever it is that you're selling. So basically, from now until you actually produce it, is coming up with everything you want that product to be, and then you've got to be able to pitch me on it so that I can be just as excited as you are, because it is different and it is hard to replicate. You cannot just take it to a Chinese manufacturer, tell them to reverse engineer it, and then make me one of those too, and I'm going to put my brand on it, but I'm going to be able to have more flowery language and more money than you, and I'm just going to outperform you. If I can't replicate the people who believe in it, then that's something that guy, the reverse engineer guy, is going to say there's much easier targets. I can take a golf club and make a golf club that's equal to yours just by the physical part. Second part, I kind of lost the second part of your question about the app part. that you want to write an app that will make these particular designs and following a family. And I don't necessarily think you have to recreate the wheel to be able to do that. You just have to find a media, such as social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, something that you can garner people early on and start pitching this thing, even if you haven't even produced it yet. Because I'll tell you, the marketplace doesn't jump into a separate app. We just kind of go to places that we're already using. So if you could go there too and find a legitimate end to start engaging with the people who will eventually buy your product, if you can do that with them and make it authentic, that's the most important part of this. It's got to be authentic. You start using, sales pitch language and you start trying to get people in, then it's not going to work because it's not going to be authentic. But if you can legitimately start talking to people and just tell your story and you click with people, then I think social media is your best end. And the media, as far as promoting and distributing, same thing. Go where people are. If your market is all over Instagram, then you're all over Instagram. If your market is on Facebook or on Twitter, then that's where you go. And I'm telling you that the pricing on social media spending is very, 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 very cheap. If I were to go back in time and start over and say, okay, where are my customers at? I got to go after them. I mean, pound for pound. And I like my ratios to be, if I spend $1, I like to have $5 in revenue attached to it. So I basically shop medias that can give me a 5-to-1 return on the marketing investment. And so, on social media, it is by far the best ratio for startup deal, because if you have already marketing departments and marketing budgets and you already have a big operation set up, then you could use more traditional means. But if you need just like some wiggle, you got a $50 marketing budget, you can make that $50 go the furthest than anything else. So it's a great way for startups to compete at a level that more traditional companies are. So thanks for the text message. Appreciate it. All right, so topic for this final segment here. I was reading an article about Workhorse, and this is the company that is sort of planning on taking over operations at the Lordstown plant, and I believe that they renamed part of the company Lordstown Automotive, and they had a nice big roundtable discussion with community leaders and people in the business community, and it really sounds like it's got some momentum behind it, and there are people that legitimately care and want something to happen here. And if those of you don't know, I'm interested in it for a different reason, where I believe in the electric vehicle, the whole movement concept across the board. I think it's got legs. I think that if there's an industry that is going to be experiencing exponential growth, it's going to be that. Battery technology, if you read the stuff that I have, you would realize that if you look 5 years into the future and look back to today, they're going to say, wow, your battery technology was terrible. So if we're a couple years away from our battery technology of experiencing this huge growth, and so batteries are more, they're more stable, they have better life, that they're less expensive, and most of all, if we can figure out a way to do production here in the United States and do it without all of the environmental problems that go along with it. I mean, you got to consider China does a lot of our heavy lifting when it comes to creating products that have a lot of messiness attached to it, whether it be the mining of the materials that are needed or the actual creation. Like our EPA won't allow us to do a lot of the things that they can get away with in China. So we're really dependent on China to do some of this stuff. And so if our battery technology can get to the point where they're crafting and equal to the lithium ions that are coming in from overseas, if we can just produce that stuff here and do it at a reasonable expense, just as people at MIT and all of our engineering and scientists, we're working on this. And so if you see that coming down, you're just hopeful when that battery technology really does. And I bought a Tesla, and the Tesla has a battery pack in it, and it's the sucky version, and I still have a pretty good experience with it. So if it gets better even from this point, then I am super excited for the trains and the semi-trucks and buses and cars. All of those are going to be fitted. Name an example, a manufacturer, someone who's creating buses that are battery technology? I don't know of any. I know there's a couple companies working on a pickup truck. I saw that DHL or one of the shipping companies purchased some Tesla semi-trucks. I know that you have cars and SUVs, high-performance cars. I don't know trains. I don't know airplanes. I don't know, I don't know any boats besides that ferry over in the Netherlands. But there's still a lot of that technology to go around. So when I see Workhorse, someone that's right up the street that is that's flirting with a production of trucks. So yes, they might sign a contract with the USPS, but there is much more opportunity even on the other side of those postal trucks, because I see everything that's kind of going to be coming down the line. If I were to position myself with a company, especially locally, that's going to be integrated in what I feel is going to be a burgeoning, technical environment, for sure, I'm going to back and say that they've got room to run. Now, I know a lot of the tractors, I don't know why. There's a lot of people that disagree with it. I've heard everything from this is the dirigible factory to the Avanti factory, and these are whatever. And I don't know if this is sour grapes over GM, but we got to really get over that stuff and put ourselves behind people who are on the right track, right? Even if it could still. And this is business. Anything can happen. It could go defunct. It could, it could be just in the same roads as those other trials, but I have hope that at least that it makes the most amount of sense, and it has, if not this, then what? What would you hope for if it's not an electric vehicle? I mean, Tesla would be great to come to town, but I know that they won't. So anyway, if you have any input on that, 330-729-9977, or you can text me at 333-1570. And I know this is a topic where I'm, if you are on the fence about it and you're just this isn't going to happen thing, it sounds like it's serious enough for us to at least cheer them, right? Put our they probably won't ever produce a product that I can personally buy, but I can at least take information and forward it through if it makes anybody feel better that people are trying real hard to fill a very big facility that I would rather have something in it than something not in it. So 330-729-9977. Let's go to Matthew. Matthew, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Yes, Joe. Thank you, Tom. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Yeah, no reason I'm calling this is not related to your topic, but we kind of have a computer problem.
Sure.
And I want to see if you can help me with it. Okay.
Absolutely.
I guess it's computer related. It's about our analog television set. We can't seem to scan it, and we don't know why. Since they took over the last week, they changed something. We can't get any signals, and I just thought you might be able to help us with that.
You cut out on that first part. What did you say it was?
Okay, our signal, we can't pick up the signal, and we can't scan with our television set. We can't do that. Since last week, they changed it over something last Friday, the 2nd, and since then we haven't been able to get anything.
Okay, so basically what this happened to me. I was just about to watch the Browns game, fire up my digital antenna. I go to the TV and start scrolling channels, and I got nothing. So I had to go into the menu of my remote control and go into the settings, and I had to have in settings I had to have the TV search for the frequencies of the new channels, and it took every bit of 15-20 minutes, and then all of the channels were back up there again. But you have to go in to the settings on the TV, not the cable box or not anything else. It's actually the TV settings.
Okay, so the converter box we have the converter box.
Okay.
So because our converter box just would not scan. It wouldn't scan.
Without knowing which one it is? Do you have a menu button on the remote?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So one of two things then. Some people, if they reset, if they had hit the reset button on the back of the converter box and put it back to factory default, one of the first menus is that it's going to scan, but then any programming that you had in that converter box is gone, which most people didn't care that it was gone. So if you can't use the remote to get in and have it scan, maybe try resetting it, and then, like I said, it'll scan for you first off.
Okay, now how do you reset it? Because we have the old converter box, so which we had it for quite some time, but since when that happened, like I said, we just can't get any signals, and like I said, we can't scan with it, so I didn't know. I looked on the back of to see if there's any other buttons, but I don't see any other buttons on the back of the box.
So, yeah, it would be super. It would be really impossible for me to tell you step by step. Those are just two theoretical things. If you knew the model number, you can look and see where the reset button is, and you just hold that down for like 10 seconds, and it resets the box back to factory default. If you don't have that and you can't get into it, I mean, that would be. I would probably Google it and find out online if there's a way of getting in the channel. Is it that you're finding it, but it's just not doing it? Is that the deal?
Well, I see on the remote, it says it's set. The settings, nothing happens. I mean, it just, we hit all the buttons and nothing happens. I mean, on the remote control, on the converter box.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'd have to look to see what even the interface looks like, because I don't know what opinion to give you on this one, because I don't recall what the converter box even looks like.
Right. It's one of the small RCA ones, but still, we've been without television for a week.
Right.
Because of that.
Well, you know what? During the next break, I'm going to go look at a picture of one and see if I can get more insight on it, and just keep listening. And if I can find something, I'll make sure that I mention it.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you being out there. And next, go to Ron. Ron, you're on the Youngstown Computer Show. How can I help you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Man, you do a great job around here.
Thank you.
I always listen to you. Okay, are you familiar? I was reading some old articles I have. Are you familiar with, let's say, a new TV, new model, and I'm going to use the word, I'm going to take just a Samsung, where these cable companies, and I heard you talk about them, because, trust me, we all do not like them, but let's say this one cable company that sent out a lot of boxes to people. They said you have a box and you have to pay a fee for the box. Okay, are you familiar with, say, a Samsung, a newer model, where the app is on there, and if you get this cable company, you can download that app where you don't have to have their box. It's already on that app is on the television.
Yeah, and a bunch of them are turning over to streaming, where the boxes are becoming less, necessary.
Right. So therefore you don't have to pay an extra monthly fee.
Yep, exactly. Yep, you can use your own internet connection, and you can use the app, and you can bypass having that box altogether.
Okay. I wasn't sure, because a lot of, my mother, she's still living her friends and stuff, and that box is driving them crazy. That's all.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. And eventually, decentralizing that stuff means that that you're going to be able to pick it up through a browser. So televisions are going to have a browser and an app, and then the converter boxes are going to be less and less necessary. We just ran into somebody who was all of their television was through Hulu. So when their internet's not working, they can't get to cable programming and whatnot, and that's their only method. So, all right, I'll take a look at that converter box over the break, and we'll be back after this break. 330-729-9977. You're listening to the Youngstown Computer Show on 570 WKBN. I'll be back.
Hey, gang, we do the show live every day, 8 to noon, but if you can't catch it, we're on the podcast. Just search Dan Rivers 570 WKBN.
At Land Pro, we're pros at finding your perfect fit. Right now, you can get a John Deere 1023E subcompact utility tractor with auto-connect drive-over mower deck and 120R loader for less than your cell phone bill. Land Pro equipment has the attachments you need for every season and at a price you can afford. Stop by your nearest Land Pro equipment location or request a quote at landproequipment.com.
John Deere and Land Pro equipment. Pros helping you work away.
Tecovas does some things the way they've always been done. We make traditional Western boots. As for everything else, we went our own way. Handmade with the highest quality leathers, sold only direct to you for a fair price, with free shipping, returns, and exchanges, and service that would make our grandmothers proud. Everything we do is for you. Find your pair at tecovas.com. That's TECOVAS.com.
Homeowners love their Pella windows and doors, and we love how happy we made Cindy from Strongsville.
I love my windows. I love the look. I love the ease of opening and closing them, and they just look fantastic.
Want your home to look fantastic? Right now, get $150 off windows, $500 off patio doors or take advantage of 0% financing for 48 months. 877-98-PELLA, PellaYoungstown.com.
Summer is here, and Matt's got the barbecue out all ready to grill. That's why he trusts Super Poly Grip, so he can enjoy his steak with full confidence.
Poly Grip.
Sounds like there's a party going on. But something's missing. The birthday gal's arrived. And thanks to Polydent, her bright smile is anything but a surprise.
Polydent.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now, you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying.
It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one.
You can try a full 30-day bottle of P3 Advanced, free.
Just pay shipping and handling.
No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply, absolutely free. Call 1-800-394-5797. Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now. Call 1-800-394-5797. Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer. Call 1-800-394-5797. 1-800-394-5797.
I would might buy the story that she fell off this little porch. My daughter was beaten to death.
I'm Katherine Townsend, host of the true crime podcast Hell and Gone, and I'm heading back to Arkansas on a new case to find out what happened to Janie Ward on September 9th, 1989. iHeartRadio is #1 for podcasts, and it's easy to see why. Listen to Hell and Gone, that's Hell and Gone, on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Youngstown Computer Show. We were talking on the phones about someone had a question about an RCA digital converter box, and I looked at it. This is like the old style, the real simple version. And producer Dave came up with the idea that maybe the remote control that the caller was using might have been not the one that was paired. Maybe it's like a universal remote control or something like that. You might want to look around and see if you can find the one that came with the box. I looked at the actual rescanning, and what you're seeing and what should be coming up, two different things. So you might actually have the one for the TV rather than the controller box. But it should be pretty simple, menu and then finding auto program and letting it scan off. So that's what I have the feeling. And the reset commands are like non-existent on this thing. So I think somebody mentioned that they can do unplug it and leave it off the out of the wall for a period of time, and then when you plug it back in, the settings will be shed. So you could try that, but I have a feeling that Dave's right and that it is just you have the wrong remote control. All right, and also making sure that the television is set either to a channel 3 or 4, and that's the only way that the TV can communicate with that converter box. So thanks for that phone call. Appreciate it. Bunch of text messages came in, so let me quickly run down that. While I'm doing that, 330-259-7278. That's the phone number for Youngstown Computer. If anybody, commercial, residential, have any requests or you want to claim one of those appointment schedules, morning, afternoon, 10 to 12, or afternoon, 2 to 4, call that number, 330-259-7278. Just leave a message which one you'd want to claim and on which day, and then John will return messages first thing in the morning and get all of those set for the upcoming week. I heard that Workhorse only made $5,000 last month. It's what I read too. Not exactly that figure, but they were considerably a smaller operation wherever they were in Texas or whatnot. And if you kind of go back in time and find some of the early, Youngstown Computer books, it would be much smaller than you would probably. It would be much smaller than you probably would expect. And I guess, a larger company filling that void. I could not see Youngstown Computer setting up of operations in Lordstown to be able to fill a corner of that room. So yes, it's a whole new level of expense in operation. So it's a matter of the talent that they have, not the revenue that they can come in. I'm telling you, when it comes to this kind of economy, you can find people lined up to do financing for anything. I could get financing to do a major operations. It all depends on the talent and the support they have behind them. That's what is going to make it a fail or succeed, not what they did yesterday. Because think about it, they could have been doing small scale of what they're about to do, and they just have to add somebody with experience to be able to scale up operations. Let's see. That's more text message. But I must have hit. This is a good topic. You can always tell a good topic with the amount of text messages that come in. Yeah. Okay, that's it. All we have time for this week. So I don't know. I think we have some football scheduling that's coming up over the next couple weeks. So you may not see me or hear from me, but we'll make sure we check in with you guys from time to time. Phone number 330-259-7278 is the phone number for Youngstown Computer if you want to call, get anything set up, and feel free to schedule those classes too. All right, thanks guys. It's got a lot of fun. Have a great week.